The interesting question for people to ask themselves is, just as we were talking about this Senate Intelligence Committee report on interrogation techniques and torture, if you will, the question people need to ask themselves is, 10 years from now, will people be asking them the same questions about the use of these drones?
They are lethal, man-made birds of prey.
When you can stare at a target unblinkingly for hours, if not days, and then use a weapon against that target that has a 14-pound warhead in it and with an accuracy measured in inches, this actually makes warfare more precise, and that should be a good.
Hi, that's the correct geometry. Give me 10 seconds.
Roger. Yeah, direct hits right there.
Now the dark side. You know, you can't be perfect. There is collateral damage. We feed the jihadi recruitment video that these Americans are heartless killers.
The most controversial target in the history of drone warfare is about to enter the CIA's crosshairs.
To the American people, I say, your security will continue to be threatened as long as your government continues with its aggression against the Muslim people.
He is Anwar AlAwlaki, a sworn enemy of the United States and an American citizen.
He was born in the U.S. and was someone who was using social media in order to convey a message about jihad and doing it very effectively, and was someone who had gone to Yemen. There was no question in my mind that he was extremely dangerous and somebody that we had to go after.
As you send us your bombs, we will send you ours.
The charismatic cleric conspires with the so-called underwear bomber in a failed plot to blow up an airliner over Detroit on Christmas Day, 2009. And he inspires the jihadist militant who kills 13 and injures more than 30 in a shooting spree at Fort Hood, Texas.
And I was asking, what were we interested in alAwlaqi about? Well, somebody said, well, he's a bad guy. He's on the president's list. And I said, wait a minute, what list is that? Well, the goodbye list.
The goodbye list, also known as the kill list. It's the grim roster of terrorists targeted for execution by the U.S. government.
I, for one, was born in the U.S. and lived in the U.S. for 21 years.
We went through the process to make a case for why alAwlaqi was dangerous, and the Justice Department, along with our general counsel and counsel out of the White House, felt that a good case had been made to put him on that list.
September 30th, 2011. David Petraeus is now in charge when CIA drone pilots in Nevada draw a bead on alAwlaqi in Yemen. They have been watching him for days.
Come back on those guys. Here we go.
I think you always do soul searching when you're putting individuals in harm's way. You turn these over in your mind, and there are occasions where you say, let me mull this one, let me think on it. But if you ensure that you're within the rules of engagement, then you press forward and make a decision.
Moments later, Anwar AlAwlaki is dead.
alAwlaqi was the leader of external operations for Al-Qaeda in the Arabian
I believe that the consequences of allowing the precedent of an American president being able to kill an American citizen under any circumstances on just his signature is dangerous.
Anwar AlAwlaki was just one man, but the CIA's drones have killed scores, perhaps hundreds, whose names are unknown.
Any personnel around, you see.
What about the so-called signature strikes?
I can't talk about signature strikes. If they are even taken, I don't know what they are.
I don't believe these directors are talking about this stuff. I'm not talking about it.
You have every reason to believe that there are bad guys there at the moment. You don't quite know the name of the bad guy, but you know the van, you know the weaponry, You know the size of the group. You know what kind of meetings have been held there before. You know the other vehicle that pulled up. And you make a decision.
My worry is that there are too many of what we would call signature strikes, which are at a group of suspected terrorists, where the evidence may not be that clear of specifically what is going on.
Another vehicle and more people clear to engage all those.
I think this administration prefers killing the prisoners rather than holding them captive, and the reason, I think, is because it's hard. It's hard to capture. It's hard work, and many would consider it dirty business.
They're killing a lot of people with, let's say, drone strikes that would better be captured and interrogated. Then we might have a chance of learning what the terrorist group is going to do next. You can't question somebody you've killed.
So in other words, the CIA is just, we're taking no prisoners.
I don't know that that's the CIA's position. I think that's the president's position. I think he is killing more people than he needs to, and we'd be better off capturing some of them and interrogating them.
Now look, this is hard, right? And anybody who makes these kinds of decisions is going to lose some sleep. But you'd also lose sleep if you failed to make these decisions and bad things happen to Americans.